Ladies and gentlemen, our ceremony will begin momentarily. Please ensure all electronic devices are silenced.
Can I check that binder real quick?
Yes, sir.
Sweet. I'm good. Appreciate it, man. Knock him dead.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, our ceremony will begin momentarily. Please ensure all electronic devices are silenced.
I'm gonna have him get right up on it. I can only lean in so much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Master Sergeant Ryan Lawrence from the operations team at the Warrant Officer Training School and your MC for today's ceremony. On behalf of Brigadier General Joseph L. Sheffield, Commander, Gene M. Holmes Center for Officer Accession and Citizen Development, we welcome you to the graduation ceremony for Warrant Officer Training School Class 2602. I would like to begin with a brief review of this morning's ceremony. In just a few moments, we'll have the arrival of the official party. During the playing of ruffles and flourishes, it is customary for military members in uniform to stand at attention facing the dignitary. Today, we honor the Undersecretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Matthew Lohmeyer. The graduates are in their service dress uniform, symbolizing the ceremonial duties for today. To maintain proper decorum and respect, we ask you to abide by the following protocols. There are times you'll be asked to stand. During those times, please stand and render the appropriate courtesies. Military members and veterans in uniform will stand at attention. We ask that our civilian guests stand and place their right hand over their heart during our national anthem. Veterans and military members who are not in uniform may also place their right hand over their heart. In addition, please reserve respect during the oath of office. During this oath, warrant officers pledge their lives to support and defend the Constitution and our country. I will be providing cues throughout the ceremony to guide you. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the playing of Ruffles and Flourishes, followed by the singing of the national anthem and invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I invite you to pray in your faith tradition as I pray in mine. Almighty God, today is the day when our brothers and sisters in arms before us go from being warrant officer candidates to officially carrying the title of warrant officer for the United States Air Force. Their training over the past 8 weeks has been focused, demanding, and tiresome. However, it has been necessary to develop them into the professional warfighting advisors and leaders we see before us today. We know it did not begin here, Lord. The foundation was laid decades ago with leaders like Chief Warrant Officer Bob Barrow, James Long, and Robert Brow. Their names represent the flights at WOTS, but they carry a tradition of honor. They set the standard for what a warrant officer can offer and exemplified what leadership should look like. Now, through the visionary influence of so many levels of leadership throughout the Air Force and our sister DoD agencies, that vision has become a reality again, and it will only make us stronger, more diverse, and capable warfighters who will defend the freedoms our nation and allies hold so dear. Thank you for all of their dedication to see this day to come to pass. Thank you for the leadership of the Honorable Matthew Lohmeyer. I cannot even begin to fathom the responsibility of his and others' shoulders who work to ensure that our Air Force has the personnel, training, and warfighting assets available so that no enemy will ever have the opportunity to hinder freedom and democracy from persevering throughout the world. Thank you for the command staff, the MTIs, the instructors, and all the support personnel who worked before, during, and even now preparing for future classes at WOTS. They have done a wonderful job, and their dedication and service for developing highly skilled, adaptable warrant officers will pay dividends for decades to come. Father, you have already blessed us. However, I humbly ask that you bless each of those present here, those that were mentioned, our nation, and our military, to the point that our cups runneth over in ways that we can never imagine. I also ask that as we approach the holiday season, that you give each of us times of rest and renewal, for we know that tougher days lie ahead, and we must be ready to meet those obstacles head on. Finally, thank you, Lord, for you are the author of this and all that we see before us. May we be good stewards, and I pray we make you proud. In your holy name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Captain Slayton, First Lieutenant Marshall, for your rendition of our national anthem, and Chaplain Douglas for that inspirational invocation. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Before we begin, I would like to welcome our official party for today's ceremony. Please hold your applause until all names have been introduced. The Undersecretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Matthew Lohmeyer. The Commandant, Warrant Officer Training School, Major Tanner Alshouse, and his spouse, Mrs. Megan Alshouse. The Senior Enlisted Leader, Warrant Officer Training School, Senior Master Sergeant Kaylee McAvenny. We would also like to recognize senior leaders without whom this day would not happen. The Chief of Staff to the Undersecretary of the Air Force, Mr. Jeffrey C. Richardson. The Commander and President, Air University, Lieutenant General Daniel Tully, and his Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Ron Howell. The Adjutant General, Alabama National Guard, Major General David Pritchett, and his Command Chief Warrant Officer, Chief Warrant Officer 5, Tracy Jolly. The Assistant Adjutant General and Air Component Commander, Alabama National Guard, Brigadier General Allison Miller. The Commander of the Gene M. Holmes Center for Officer Accession and Citizen Development, Brigadier General Joseph L. Sheffield, his spouse, Mrs. Sarah Sheffield, and his Command Chief, Chief Master Sergeant Camilla Washington. The Deputy Commander of the Gene M. Holmes Center for Officer Accession and Citizen Development, Colonel Joshua Eamon. The Assistant Deputy Chief of Staff for Warfighter Communications and Cyber Effects, Brigadier General Joy Kazor. The Air National Guard Assistant to the Commander, Air University, Brigadier General Adria Zaccaro. The Executive Director of the Air University Foundation, Colonel Retired Joe Panza. We'd also like to thank all general officers, senior executive service civilians, commanders, commandants, chiefs, senior enlisted leaders, staff, friends, and family who have joined us on this special occasion. We hope you enjoyed today's ceremony. Today marks a significant day for our warrant officer candidates. Prior to 2024, the last Air Force warrant officer was CW4 James Long retiring REGAF in 1980, and CW5 Bob Barrow completing his service in the reserves in 1992. In November 2025, the Warrant Officer Training School dedicated their third flight after CW4 Robert Brow, who retired in 1980 after more than 21 years of service. Their legacy is honored in the three flights graduating today. Barrow Flight, instructed by Master Sergeant Desiree Cobb and Master Sergeant Ryan Lawrence. Brow Flight, instructed by Master Sergeant David Elliott, Master Sergeant Vernon Boyd, and Master Sergeant Robert Tatum. Long Flight, instructed by Master Sergeant Kate Heitenen and Master Sergeant Ryan Knight. Additionally, led by military training instructors Master Sergeant Joseph Sharon, Master Sergeant Richard Thompson, and Technical Sergeant Matthew Gierak. Today, we witness the dedication and commitment of the Warrant Officer Training School Class 2602. This class consisted of 40 candidates who have persevered and excelled through 8.5 weeks of rigorous training, testing their physical, emotional, and mental fortitude. Guided by the motto, Mission Ready, they have demonstrated their readiness not only through challenging academics, but also through team exercises that push their problem-solving skills and physical endurance. Please join me in welcoming the Commandant, Warrant Officer Training School, Major Tanner Alshouse, to the stage for opening remarks.
Hey, good morning. It seems like yesterday that the candidates arrived on training day one, ready and eager to learn. I'd like to begin by extending my sincere appreciation to each of you for being here today to celebrate our graduates, whether you traveled in person or joining us virtually. Today, the Warrant Officer Training School is privileged to welcome the Honorable Matthew Lohmeyer. Sir, we are truly honored to have you with us not only in attendance, but to serve as today's keynote speaker and to administer the oath of office to our newest warrant officers. Thank you. Your presence today is both impactful and appreciated, especially as our school continues to meet the United States Air Force's warrant officer production requirements. I'd also like to take a moment to recognize some of our key mission partners whose contributions are critical to supporting our daily operations. Lieutenant General Tully. Sir, thank you for your leadership to foster a continued partnership between WOTS and Air University. Since the beginning, Air University has been an instrumental part of our continued success. I'd also like to extend my sincere gratitude to Brigadier General Sheffield and the Home Center Command Team. Your leadership and support enables us to execute our mission with precision and speed. We are grateful for your continued support and dedication. I'd also like to acknowledge Brigadier General Kazor. As many of you know, the Air Force currently produces cyber and IT warrant officers. General Kazor and her team have been trailblazers in the reintroduction of the warrant officer and have worked in lockstep with our schoolhouse since day one. Additionally, thank you to Major General Pritchett, General Miller, and Brigadier General Zaccaro, all sister service warrant officers in attendance. Our strategic location of the schoolhouse enables us to foster a strong partnership with our sister services, to include the Alabama National Guard and Fort Rucker, where we've been able to work together to cultivate the mentorship of our new warrants. Finally, but certainly not least, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to all my cadre and staff. Day in and day out, they show up delivering our challenging curriculum and training program to develop world-class warrant officers. Just over a year ago, the Warrant Officer Training School proudly produced the Air Force's first warrant officer since 1959. Today, we celebrate the achievements of our 40 graduates, bringing our total force warrant officers to 183 across the service. Even more significant, it marks our largest graduating class to date. We are also privileged to welcome our third flight, honoring Chief Warrant Officer 4, retired Bob Brow, and his family, who's also in attendance today. Every class has its own distinct character, and Class 2602 is no exception. The class faced the dynamic challenges of integrating across all three flights. There's an old adage, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. To our warrants, you've arrived on day one with uncertainty and anticipation. My team took you back to basics with drill, physical training, dorm and uniform inspections. More importantly, they had transformed a group of highly skilled technical individuals into a cohesive team operating under a shared warrior ethos. Throughout the course, you were challenged physically, academically, emotionally, and mentally. You learned to balance the dynamics of all four areas, pushing your limits and proving your resilience. Along the way, you were embraced with the program learning outcomes, professional warfighter, technical integrator, incredible advisor. Every time you heard the phrase, begin problem solving, you had to adapt quickly and rely on each other's strengths to move forward. It was the strength of your class that carried you through. Whether it was the leadership reaction course or counting down the number of crosswalks to chow until graduation, you relied on each other. That team dynamic was essential to your success. But remember, it's not just your professional team that got you here today, but also your personal team. Your families and loved ones have been your steady source of support, where they will continue to be the ones to give you the strength to go the extra mile. To each of the families, I extend my deepest appreciation for all that you have done in support of our warrants. Now, more than ever, you will need each other and the support of your fellow warrant officers to continue shaping the future and culture of the Air Force Warrant Officer Corps. As you move forward, remember this: if you want to go far, go together. This truth is embedded in the strength you'll find in each other, your families, and the Warrant Officer Corps, as you will need them to lead, integrate, and to advise. Secretary Lohmeyer, it is my distinct honor and privilege to graduate the Air Force's newest mission-ready warrant officers into the United States Air Force. Thank you.
Thank you, Major Alshouse. Senior Master Sergeant McAvenny, please join Major Alshouse on stage to begin the awards portion of our ceremony. The Warrant Officer Training School recognizes select individuals for their accomplishments while in training. Friends and family, please feel free to cheer for your graduate as they accept their award. Our first award is the Outstanding Contributor, presented to the individual in each flight who consistently helped the team reach its full potential. This award is selected by each respective flight. Winners, please come forward to accept your award as your name is called. From Barrow Flight, Warrant Officer 1, Hayden Kidder. From Brow Flight, Warrant Officer 1, Sean Hofstadter. And from Long Flight, Warrant Officer 1, Burnett Seifert. Next, we will announce the Commandant's Leadership Award, presented to the graduate who best exemplifies the Warrant Officer Training School's whole-person concept and demonstrated exceptional leadership and followership throughout the course. The recipient of the Commandant's Leadership Award for Class 2602 is Chief Warrant Officer 2, Daniel Harmon. Now we will recognize our distinguished graduates. These individuals are the top 10% of their class, having excelled in academic performance. Winners, please come forward to accept your award as your name is called. The distinguished graduates for Class 2602 are Warrant Officer 1, Craig Flenchy, Warrant Officer 1, William Davis, and Warrant Officer 1, David Long. Each WOTS class includes a top graduate, recognized for the highest overall academic performance across all graded measures. The top graduate is Chief Warrant Officer 2, Avery Johnson. Thank you, Major Alshouse and Senior Master Sergeant McAvenny. Please join me in applauding our individual award winners once again. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker for today's ceremony, the Undersecretary of the Air Force, the Honorable Matthew Lohmeyer. Sir, the floor is yours.
I am rather observant, and I noticed that about 25% of this graduating class has a mustache, but over half of the award winners that came up here had a mustache. So either our top graduates and the best among us are wearing mustaches, or your mustaches have made you incredibly powerful. And sometimes leadership from the bottom is as important as leadership from the top. Thank you for your examples of hard work, good looks. You've accomplished something really important here, which I'll talk about in just a minute. I also observed when I got off the bus a minute ago that I was greeted by a very large statured gentleman sitting here in the front row who I haven't seen for 23 years. Josh, is it? Eamon? I memorized his name at one point because he was an upperclassman of mine at the Air Force Academy when I showed up as a brand new 4-degree freshman. And I get to travel around the Air Force quite a bit, and I get to run into people I haven't seen for many years. And usually if they were yellers and really mean, I recognize them right away. It took me just a second to recognize him. I'm guessing the same demeanor he has today as what he had 23 years ago at the Academy. He didn't yell much at me. But it's really good seeing you again after all these years as well. Some places it feels like coming home. This is one of those places for me. I've spent many years here, in fact, throughout my career. Thank you for taking the time to be here to support our graduates. 40 of them. I think a mix of REGAF and Guard and Reserve. Really happy to be here with you today. To the faculty, thank you for your tireless work developing and refining the curriculum that we have here for these graduates. Your hours spent behind the scenes in training and in the classroom have gotten us to this point. To all of the family and friends in attendance and to those watching from afar, thank you for your support, for your understanding and love for the graduates who are here today. They would not be here without you, and they certainly will not succeed without you going forward. Thank you very much. To our graduates, thank you for your service, for your commitment, and for excellence that you exhibit. Congratulations on making it through these last 2 months in a program that probably initially reminded you somewhat of basic training, which you'd been through before. I thought you thought you'd probably never go through that again. But I think your training ended up more like a professional military education opportunity. I'm told that you marched about 150 miles in your time here, but that one of you, in a bit of an effort to balance out all of that marching, had pie with literally every meal that you ate, with maybe one exception. Who is that? Who is that? Hey, congratulations. You don't look like you've eaten pie every day for the past, yeah, good work. I appreciate your commitment, your consistency, all of you, not just you. and congratulations on a job well done. It's a pleasure for me to come back to Maxwell Air Force Base. I spent 2 years here completing Air Command and Staff College and the School of Advanced Air and Space Studies, and it does feel like home to me. And a lot of the work that I've done here and the effort I've exerted here is memorable to me. It's a formative period of my career and professional development, and I imagine that you'll look upon your experience here in the same way, not just in the weeks and months ahead, but also for the rest of your careers. It's my honor to preside at the Air Force's 6th Warrant Officer graduation ceremony in the modern era. As you heard earlier, we've done this before, but not recently, and we've just resurrected this, as it were. Today, we are closing out the 2nd calendar year of graduating new warrant officers, and we are about to enter the 3rd of many more years to come. This signifies that as a department, we are making a lasting investment and commitment to a cadre of warrant officers in the United States Air Force. It's worth noting. This commitment is especially evident from the composition of these graduates, which marks the return of the total force student body in fiscal year 26. This class consists of 30 REGAF, regular Air Force, 9 Air National Guardsmen, and 1 Air Force reservist. You all are about to enter cyber and IT units across the total force to be leaders, advisors, and technical experts. My remarks today will focus on 3 areas in particular. 1, the national security environment that we work in. 2, the critical need for warrant officers in today's Air Force. And 3, our core values. Specifically, I'll discuss how the graduates here today bring a synergy from these 3 domains that will enable our Air Force successes in the fight today and tomorrow. First, on the national security environment. The White House released the National Security Strategy just under 2 weeks ago. Have any of you seen it? You too busy reading other stuff? The President's overarching focus is on core U.S. interests and peace through strength. A national defense strategy is soon to follow, and Secretary Hegseth recently previewed the Department of War's focus at the Reagan National Defense Forum. We will prioritize defending the homeland, deterring aggression in the Indo-Pacific, increasing allied burden sharing, and strengthening the U.S. industrial base. There should be an announcement about that soon to follow. The first 2 priorities, specifically defending the homeland and deterring aggression, in combination have a strategic synergy. By protecting our own shores, we are executing a deterrent strategy in and of itself. By deterring China, we are protecting the interests of the American people at home and abroad. If we fail to deter China in the Indo-Pacific, we can be sure that there will be corresponding actions, whether kinetic in space, in cyberspace, or economic, and we will feel those impacts on our homeland. The successful pursuit of these 2 chief priorities, defending the homeland and deterring China, has the power to alter decision-making of both our friends and our adversaries on the world stage. The 3rd priority that I mentioned as a part of that national security strategy is increasing allied burden sharing, and it's especially relevant to all of the graduates who are here today. We support and conduct missions in every region on the earth. Everything we do with our allies and partners hinges on secure and seamless integration of cyber and IT capabilities. As we continue to support the ability of our allies to develop their own capacity, expert knowledge from your domain is critical. As technical experts and leaders in your fields, you will help implement these priorities in your squadrons and in your future positions. The 4th priority in the strategy is strengthening the U.S. industrial base. We have the most robust and innovative commercial software and cyber companies in the world, no doubt about it. We must successfully integrate this asymmetric advantage into our military systems. To implement these priorities, the Air Force must increase our current readiness while modernizing our weapon systems and developing our people. Secretary Mink has talked a lot about this. You all will lead the DAF's modernization of our cyber and IT weapon systems while helping to train and develop our future cyber operators. This leads to my 2nd point, the critical need for warrant officers in the force. Up until last year, the Air Force had not commissioned a warrant officer since 1959, as was mentioned. This is, of course, well known by our graduates and our faculty, but to our families and guests, I highlight this to provide a sense of how big of a change this is within the department. The Air Force instituted this fundamental change because we recognize that the speed at which the cyber realm changes demands that we have uniform-wearing experts whose sole focus is staying at and driving the cutting edge of cyber and IT forward. Our military demands it, and our national security depends upon it. These days, combat power is digital at its core. All missions rely on digital systems, operate on digital infrastructure, and leverage data. Cyber is a mission in which we cannot afford failure. Therefore, we have reestablished the warrant officer as a force multiplier in the Air Force and spent the last 8.5 weeks shaping professional warfighters, technical integrators, and credible advisors. Is that what you've been trained that you are? Okay, just make sure I got that right. That's what I've been told. In fact, before today and before spending some time with your leadership team, I knew very little about the warrant officer corps. I think I'm now in like the top 1% of the Air Force in understanding this, and we've got a long ways to go in educating the entire force about what it is that our warrant officers are and do. As professional warfighters, you graduates will demonstrate military professionalism and decision-making skills used in mission execution throughout the continuum of warfare operations. As technical integrators, you will demonstrate leadership and followership skills that foster innovation and facilitate integration of people, organizations, and effects to achieve the mission. And you will be credible advisors who understand your advisory role and demonstrate effective communication skills informed by technical knowledge to advise command teams toward effective decision-making. Much is being asked of you, but your graduation here today signifies that your leadership and the Air Force deem you ready for this responsibility. And the stakes, in fact, at this juncture in history are quite high. The lethality and survivability of our forces, in fact, depends on the synchronized employment of non-kinetic capabilities. Lastly, I'd like to say a word about the Air Force core values. I have mentioned, of course, the current strategic environment in which you'll operate and the absolute necessity for warrant officers in the modern force. Underpinning the critical traits of leadership, followership, communication, and advising that you all entered this training with and that the cadre have spent the last 8.5 weeks further developing in you are the Air Force core values. In the profession of arms, where the stakes are often life or death, we are guided by the principles of integrity, service before self, and excellence in all we do. I'm going to briefly touch upon each of these and then wrap up. Integrity is the bedrock upon which the foundation of our core values is built. In fact, I'd like to think that any good that you can offer in service to your country begins with getting your integrity intact. Everything begins with integrity in our line of work. We often define integrity as doing what's right even though no one's looking, and that's fine and fair enough. I think it's a good guidepost, but I'll expand on it briefly to say that integrity is doing what is right even when everyone is looking and they might disagree with you. Remember this as you find yourself in difficult situations that require your expert advice, even when that means sometimes respectfully going against the grain. Never compromise your integrity or through your conduct the integrity of the institution you serve and the mission that you're seeking to accomplish. Second, service before self. Years ago, you volunteered to serve, something that most of your peers up to that point had not done. Your original decision to join the Air Force epitomizes, in my view, service before self. Today's oath as warrant officers establishes you as leaders in your field and further reinforces your commitment to service. Continue on this path as you serve your squadrons, the Air Force mission, and your loved ones. Finally, the last of our core values, excellence in all we do. The Air Force, frankly, needs your best each and every day. This does not mean that you must be perfect or that you will never make mistakes. What it does mean is that you must learn from your mistakes and strive to be better each and every day. As subject matter experts in a field that rapidly evolves, this couldn't be more important. As warfighters, experts, and advisor leaders, never forget the foundational principles we stand upon. Wherever you go and whatever you learn, Continue to live by the core values, and I believe you'll have a successful career and life. Someday you hang up the uniform. And there's some things you can't bring with you, and there are other things you must bring with you. And the Air Force core values, your character, are the things that you'll live with and die with. As I conclude, I'll share an anecdote that for you graduates and for the rest of the audience further emphasizes the importance that the Air Force now places on our warrant officer graduates that are here today. A bit over 2 years ago, the Air Force began an initiative that we called Great Power Competition, and an optimization for great power competition, meaning competition with a great power competitor, as in China. That initiative included a number of large-scale efforts, such as changing how we organize our wings to go to war, for example, establishing new major commands, changing how we integrate across commands, to name just a few. Reestablishing the warrant officer in the cyber and IT fields was one of those changes. Last winter, the Air Force was tasked by the Department of War to review all of those efforts and to determine which of those efforts align with our national interests. After months of review and analysis, Secretary Mink, General Wilsbach, and I have decided to end many of the Great Power Competition initiatives. Not because we don't take great power competition seriously, but because that was in our best judgment. There were some changes that needed to be made with regard to those initiatives to better posture us for that great power competition. Specifically, we stopped those initiatives that I've just mentioned above. However, there was no questioning the need for the warrant officers in the Air Force, and that was an initiative we weren't willing to let go. And so I want to share that with you, that it was quite frankly a straightforward decision to keep the program going forward. You were selected for this program because of your prior performance. We're commissioning you as warrant officers today because of your potential that you've exhibited. We need your technical expertise and your leadership to guide the Department of the Air Force as we go into the future of modern warfare. We don't know exactly what that future will look like, but we know for certain that our ability to defend the homeland and to protect American interests will depend on our ability to operate continually and securely in cyberspace. You all are charged with making this happen. Thank you for your service, and thank you for letting me be here with you today to celebrate. Congratulations. I think I'm supposed to stay here with you.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of WOTS Class 2602, the candidate commander, Warrant Officer 1, Christian Crandall, would like to present you with a token of appreciation. I would now like to ask the WOTS command team to please join Undersecretary Lohmeyer on stage to present the graduation certificates. Graduates and instructors, please take your position. Friends and family, feel free to cheer as your graduate accepts their certificates. Warrant Officer 1, Abel Alfonso. Chief Warrant Officer 2, Marco Altadonna. Warrant Officer 1, Patrick Boudreau. Warrant Officer 1, Kyle Bronk. Warrant Officer 1, Matthew Cloday. Warrant Officer 1, Chance Cobb. Warrant Officer 1, Daniel Crandall. Warrant Officer 1, Christian Crandall. Warrant Officer 1, Johnny Cruz. Warrant Officer 1, Samson Cummings. Warrant Officer 1, William Davis. Warrant Officer 1, Craig Flenchy. Warrant Officer 1, Carlos Flores Reynes. Warrant Officer 1, Jordan Foster. Warrant Officer 1, Nicholas Gray. Warrant Officer 1, Desiree Guerrero. Warrant Officer 1, Brett Hammonds. Chief Warrant Officer 2, Daniel Harmon. Warrant Officer 1, Alan Hills. Warrant Officer 1, Sean Hofstadter. Chief Warrant Officer 2, Andrew Jenkins. Chief Warrant Officer 2, Avery Johnson. Chief Warrant Officer 2, Michael Joy. Warrant Officer 1, Hayden Kidder. Warrant Officer 1, Sean Laplace. Warrant Officer 1, David Long. Warrant Officer 1, Zachary Mame Maiden. Warrant Officer 1, Britton Pennington. Chief Warrant Officer 2, Noah Petramala. Warrant Officer 1, Nathaniel Phillips. Warrant Officer 1, Dana Plant. Warrant Officer 1, Chance Powell. Warrant Officer 1, Matthew Reams. Warrant Officer 1, Burnett Seifert. Chief Warrant Officer 2, Cody Sistar. Warrant Officer 1, Cody Snell. Chief Warrant Officer 2, Matthew Sutton. Warrant Officer 1, Ryan Trips. Chief Warrant Officer 2, Michael Volkmeyer. Warrant Officer 1, Chad White. Please join me in another round of applause for our graduates. Thank you, Major Alshouse and Senior Master Sergeant McAvenny. Everyone, please rise as Undersecretary Lohmeyer will now administer the oath of office.
Thank you. Without the prompts, I'd be in trouble. I'm going to do it from right here so that I can be heard online. Graduates, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name. Having been appointed a warrant officer in the United States Air Force. Do solemnly swear. That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I take this obligation freely. Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And that I will well and faithfully discharge. The duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. Now, my good-
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce the Air Force's newest warrant officers. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Class 2602, please come to the stage for a photo with the Undersecretary, the Honorable Matthew Lohmeyer. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the singing of the Air Force song, followed by the departure of the official party and the graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Thank you for attending and have a great